The U.S. freezes immigrant visas for 75 countries, and what this means for your Plan B. In a recent video on this channel, I talked about the United Kingdom's new rules for dual citizens and Australian travelers, how ETA's stricter entry rules and extra costs show that even long-standing travel rights can change over time. So today there's another major development, and this time it's from the United States. The U.S. State Department is pausing immigrant visas processing for applicants from 75 countries while it reassesses how it applies the public charge rules. So if the UK video showed what can happen at the level of border control and documentation, this US story shows how an entire immigration channel can be frozen for millions of people. Both point to the same lesson: you cannot afford to have your whole life depend on one country's decisions. So what is happening with the US immigrant visas? So according to the State Department memo and media coverage on the topic, consular officers have been instructed to refuse immigrant visas for applicants from 75 countries while screening and vetting procedures are reviewed under the public charge provision. So this pause is due to begin on January 21st and continue indefinitely, and the countries mentioned so far include Somalia, Russia, Afghanistan, Brazil, Iran, Iraq, Egypt, Nigeria, Thailand, some Caribbean islands, Yemen, and several others. So this is explicitly framed as a reassessment of whether future immigrants might rely on U.S. public benefits with factors such as health, age, English proficiency, finances, and possible need for long-term medical care, all coming under closer scrutiny. So in the UK episode that was recently published on this channel, the focus was on dual British or Irish citizens who had traveled for years on an Australian passport, only to discover they now must use the correct passport or an expensive certificate of entitlement with real risks of being denied boarding if they get it wrong. The US visa freeze is different in detail, but identical in theme. People who have followed the rules, submitted applications, and built plans around an immigration system can suddenly find the system paused, tightened, or made significantly more complex. If you have not seen the UK video yet, it is worth watching after this one because together they show two sides of the same coin. One about entry procedures, the other about immigrant visas, and both underline why relying on a single country's goodwill is risky. For nationals of the 75 countries on this list, the pause can delay or derail family reunification, long-term relocation, and even business plans built around future permanent residence in the United States. Importantly, the announcement focuses on immigrant visas. Non-immigrant categories such as short-term visitors are not explicitly frozen, though they may face closer public charge scrutiny in practice. So from a planning perspective, the key point is that major destinations can and do change eligibility standards, sometimes on an indefinite timeline and with limited exceptions. So that is the same environment discussed in the UK video that we posted on this channel, that rules, laws, and policies move and change, and individuals are left to adapt. From move to the US or UK one day to real jurisdictional diversification. Many clients come to my firm with an informal assumption that if needed, they or their children could always move to a country like the US or the UK in the future. Both the UK rule change and this US visa pause show that this assumption is becoming less reliable. Instead of thinking in terms of a single dream destination, sophisticated clients are really looking at jurisdictional diversification, a second or third country where they can legally live or spend extended periods of time, alternative banking, education, and business options that are not tied to one state's policies, so structures that still function when large countries tighten their rules, introduce new screening, or pause visa processing. So the question is not just, can I get a second passport? But if the US, the UK, or another key country changes the rules again and laws again, and procedures and policies again in 5 years or 10 years, do I already have a documented legal alternative? So where CBI, EU ancestry, and residency fit in without the hype. So citizenship by investment is one tool in a wider toolbox. For some people, the best solution is an EU citizenship by descent that they haven't fully explored yet, or a residency program in a jurisdiction that aligns with their lifestyle goals or their tax position, or in certain cases, a carefully chosen citizenship by investment program that provides an additional stable citizenship outside of their current region. So the UK and US developments are reminders to evaluate whether your existing rights and any future program that you consider actually help when policies change, rather than looking simply attractive on paper. So the goal is legal resilience, not shortcuts. So in our practice at JH Marlin, we work with clients from countries now facing more uncertainty in US immigration, including parts of Africa, the Middle East, Asia, and Latin America. Individuals in countries like the UK, Australia, Canada, and the EU who are watching these trends and do not want to be caught off guard. Entrepreneurs, crypto influencers, and crypto-heavy clients whose businesses and families already span multiple jurisdictions. What they need is a clear, legally grounded strategy. So a lot of people want an honest review of how changes like the US visa pause and the UK dual citizen rules interact with their current passports and residencies, a realistic assessment of whether CBI, EU ancestry, or residency routes make sense and in what sequence. A lot of people are looking for a practical plan for documentation, tax, and compliance, and not just headlines. So the UK video that was previously posted on this channel walks through these ideas using one concrete example, dual citizens facing new entry rules, and this episode does the same with the US immigrant visas. So together they're designed to help you think more clearly about risk and rather than react to individual headlines. If you're from one of the affected 75 countries, or you simply want to reduce your exposure to sudden rule, law, and policy changes, the most productive step is to understand your current position and your options. Which passports and residences do you have and hold today? Which routes might be available to you by descent, by investment, through residence? How much physical presence, cost, and complexity are you genuinely willing to take on to secure a real plan B? If you would like to explore these questions in a professional, confidential setting, you can set up a call with myself or a member of our team, and we'd be happy to help and speak with you further. You'll find our contact details in the description below, along with a link to our earlier UK video on dual citizen rule changes. Watching both together will give you a fuller picture of how major countries are tightening immigration and travel, and how a well-designed lawful Plan B can help you stay one step ahead. Thanks for watching this episode of Passport to Possibility from JH Marlin. All the best.